My question is to the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Senator Wong. With no end in sight to Australia's cost of living crisis and with Labor's policies like record immigration and increased public spending making inflation even worse than it needs to be, the Albanese government has substantially increased our foreign aid budget to over $5 billion per year across the forward estimates and signalled more increases to come after. Is the Albanese Labor government in discussions about an increase on the $10 million of aid Australia has already provided to Gaza following the terrorist attacks in Israel?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Wong.
I think there are two parts to that question, Senator Hanson. I will seek to address both of them. The first in relation to foreign aid, and I appreciate you have a different view, but we do see development assistance as an element of our national power. It is an element of how we influence the world, and we do think there is obviously an ethical argument for, if we can ensure that a child doesn't die, we can avert a death, that is a good thing for humanity. But there's also a very pragmatic and national security reason, which is we do better in a world where there is more stability and more prosperity, particularly in our region. We do better in a region that is more stable and more prosperous, and our development assistance is about trying to ensure that. So it is about the interests of Australians. I think the question that you are asking goes to the UN Relief Works Agency. I think that might be what you're referencing in terms of Gaza. I would just make the point that this is the only organisation with a mandate to provide basic services to the Palestinian people. And obviously, we all have a view about the abhorrent nature of Hamas, which regrettably retains much control in Gaza. So the only way in which we can provide assistance in a sensible way or a legitimate way to the Palestinian people in Gaza and also the West Bank is through the UN Relief Works Agency. So we have that is funding that was previously provided by both the Turnbull and Abbott governments. It is also funded by the United States, and Secretary Blinken has previously indicated that the US remains committing to supporting this entity.
Senator Hanson, first supplementary.
It was revealed on the weekend that Australians have been donating thousands of dollars to a charity funded by Australian Palestine Advocacy Network President and terror apologist Nasser Mashini, which is funneling the money to an aid organisation in Gaza accused of links to the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine terrorist group. Minister, what assurances do you offer the Australian people that taxpayer dollars are not supporting terrorists?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Wong.
I will I will confirm this, Senator, but I think when I looked at this after the story broke, that is not an entity that the Australian government funds. The funding that we provide is through the UN Relief Work Agency. I think that's the R. I'm sorry, I'm quite tired. UNRWA. And the entity that you describe is funded by private donations. That is my recollection, and if I'm incorrect, I will come back to the chamber and clarify that with you.
Senator Hanson, second supplementary.
The Albanese government is increasing foreign aid while the Australian people are experiencing a lower standard of living, declining access to healthcare, massive energy cost increases, rising crime and rising interest rates. When is the Albanese government going to stop putting the needs of foreign countries first before Australia when so many Australians are struggling and suffering?
Thank you, Senator Hanson. Minister Wong.
I'd make 2 points, Senator. As you would know, the government is very focused on the cost of living challenges that Australians are facing, and that is why we saw some $23 billion worth of cost of living measures in the budget. That is why we are seeking to get wages moving again. And as Senator Gallagher said in her first answer, that we are very pleased to see the figures released today shows that wages are at a much better level than they have been for many years, obviously there's a lot more work to do, and we know what inflation is, how inflation is a challenge within the economy and for families. But this is what we are focused on. How do we ensure that wages get moving and we deal with cost of living matters? In relation to development assistance, I'd refer you to the strategic argument I put in my first answer.
Thank you.
Well, I asked the Foreign Affairs Minister today about foreign aid. Foreign aid at the moment, we're paying over $5 billion in foreign aid. Now, I asked the Minister the question about giving foreign aid, and as she said, it keeps peace in the region. We're actually doing it for our neighbours, and we have to look out after our position other neighbours. But it seems every time Albanese gets on a plane, travels anywhere around the world, he's actually opening up the wallet of the taxpayer's wallet and actually handing out money to these countries, and I have a grave concern about that. I also asked the question about this foundation that Mashia is involved in, and would it be, can government assure the people who are putting into this fund that it's actually going to the right cause and not to the terrorists? The Minister actually answered my question basically to say, well, look, the government's money, I'm not talking about just government's money, I'm talking about the Australian taxpayers who are putting money into this fund for a cause. So whether the government should be ensuring that this organisation that's set up is legitimate, above board, and the money is not being funneled to terrorist organisations, which has been could be the case. It's been reported. Another thing also, when I spoke about the monies going to these countries, and it's about struggling Australians. As far as I'm concerned, we are here to look after the Australian people first and foremost. These Australian people are struggling. They don't have homes, they don't have houses, living in tents, they don't have the care and attention, hospitalisation when they need it. This is where the people should be looked after first and foremost, not worrying about Tuvalu, not worrying about climate change and setting them up for the future and all the rest of it. It's about looking after our own people, and that's what I'm saying. $5 billion a year is a lot of money that we could help a lot of Australians.